Okay, here I am, and actually what I could have done is I could have laser cut these because I do have the patterns, alright? But if I laser cut them, then the kit just becomes a gluing part A to part B. And that's not really what these are all about. These are about woodworking and doing a lot of fabricating and making all of the joinery and everything fit real nice. And that's kind of the fun of it. So that's why doing these cap rails is going to be done by hand. So let's get started and I'll start cutting them out. Okay, after I used my cardboard patterns to get the shapes of these pieces, I glued them back together and onto this piece of cardboard. And you can see there's my original hook scarf right there. Okay, and here's my original butterfly. Okay, now the reason I did that is because I want to maintain this shape. And what I did was here, I cut this first one. Okay, this one's all cut out. And I'm going to line up my scarf joint, just like this, and set it on here. Now, what I have to make sure is that when this piece fits together, like so, it still lines up. Okay, now let me show you here close up. Okay, now we're close up. Now I put my hook scarf together here. Now watch, if I slide over and I hold this hook scarf together, it only takes the slightest, maybe a couple degrees of this angle to be off, and what happens is, see, it moves the end a long ways, and what you're moving over here is very slight. Okay, it only takes that much to be off. Now when you're off, what happens is, let's get the hull over here. Okay, and the reason is, if I put this on the hull, okay, and line this up where it belongs, and I put my hook scarf together, you could see that movement, the slight movement here, would knock it off the top of the bulwarks. See how it would move? And it only takes such a tiny bit. See how it'll knock it off? And if it knocks it off like that, then your cap rail is no good. So that is why I'm using this as my pattern. Okay, so I want to keep this arc to make sure that it's going to hit on my right on the top of the bulwark, like so, and also maintain a nice, sharp, clean piece of joinery here. Let me zoom way in and show you that. Okay, see, if I take this hook scarf, I could slide them together and they fit perfect. Okay, see, there's no movement in it. It goes right together. Okay, now, after we cut these things out on our scroll saw, you can see it's cut very crude. Alright, so now I'm going to take you step by step through the process of cutting a hook scarf. So the first thing we need to do is we need to cut a nice straight even line here and one here, and I'll show you how I do that. Okay, I have a vise right here, and so what I want to do is I want to take my cap rail and see my line. It's right here. Okay, right there it is. So what I want to do is I want to move it down so it's nice and flush with the top of the vise right there, and clamp it. Okay, now that I have my piece here clamped into my vise, you can see I'm right on that line. So when we're cutting the first half of this joint, we really don't have to be dead on any line. We just got to be close. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use this razor saw. right here. All right, and I'm going to set it flat on the face of my vise, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut this. Okay, now by keeping this flat on the vise, I'm getting a nice, even, flat line. Okay, and I'm going to keep cutting it right up to this next line, just like that. Let me blow it away. Okay, so here's our line, and it's perfectly flat, and it's cut against this. So, see, I'll show you here. Let me break a piece of it out. See how even and nice it cuts? Okay, now the next thing I got to do is I got to cut this one. So let me go ahead and do that. I got to move this down in my vise. So let's just open up the vise, all right, like so, and we're just going to move it down, and we're going to clamp this right there. Okay, let me tighten up my vise. Same thing. I just want to take my razor saw and cut it back to that line, holding it flat on my vise. Okay, it's nice and easy. There we go. And once again, it's kept nice and flat on the vise. Let's zoom out so you can see more of what's going on. You see how it is? And I'm just going right on the top of my vise. Alright, now I got to cut these lines right here. Okay, next will be this line right here. Alright, so the same deal. Let's just line it up with the top. Okay, ease it in. Right about there. There we go. Well, there we go. All right, clamp it down. Fine. Now, instead of cutting that with the razor saw, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use an X-Acto blade. Okay, now with the X-Acto blade, I'm going to go in here and I'm just going to shave this down like this. Okay, because I can take it off in nice curls. See? And it comes off right at my saw cut. So I'm going to go in this direction over here. Take the end of it off. See how nice that cuts? Okay. Let's do this direction a little bit more. Okay. Now, as I'm getting down close to the edge, what I want to do is keep my knife blade, I can't see that, keep my knife blade like this, flat against the top of my vise. Okay, so we're going to go in here and we're going to keep cutting this. And what's going to happen is the top of the vise is going to kind of stop the cut. Okay. Now I'm just going to shave it like so. Like this. See, and the top of the vise is keeping it nice and flat. Okay. A little bit more. There we go. Now I'm just about there. So what I'm going to do now is just very lightly go across and even it out. And I have a scalpel right here. Now the nice thing about the scalpel is it's very flexible and bendable. So now I can go in here with the scalpel and just clean this across the face like so. Okay, now let's open this up and I'll show you. You see how you get a very nice flat clean cut. That's perfect, and it keeps it nice at a 90 degree square angle. So then we just do the exact same thing with this one right here. We're just going there. You know, because like I say, this first side of this joint really doesn't have to be that dead on. Okay, just close. Okay, now let me tighten it up. Same deal. You see, we're just going to go in here and just hog this out of here. Let's try the scalpel. Uh-oh. Let's try the scalpel here. Oh yeah, that works nice. Because these scalpels are really sharp. Oh, that came out in one piece. Beauty. Alright. Now we're just going to go in and just... See, I'm bending that scalpel quite a bit. I'm just going to go in here now and clean it up. Now that didn't take long, now did it? So you really don't need an expensive mill to mill these sort of things out. You could do it with an X-Acto knife and a scalpel. There it is. Now, let's just take a look. And there we have a perfectly cut piece of joinery. Get all these crumbs out of here. There you go. See it? And it's perfectly square, perfectly flat on both sides. So now the trick is to get this half to set in there perfectly. And I'll show you how I do that.